Godzilla Kong is only 2 months away, and it's set to explore more of the Hollow Earth and uncover world-ending threats hidden beneath the surface, one of which being the Skar King. This titanic primate is set to be older than Kong and potentially even Godzilla, being a warrior that's much larger, smarter, more experienced, and perhaps even stronger than the king of the monsters. So much so where Godzilla may need to evolve to keep up with the competition. Skar King has seen the Kong v Godzilla war that pushed both species to the brink of extinction. He's seen civilizations rise and fall, and now we have evidence that tells us he's been there since the monsterverse began, lurking in the shadows. Adam Wingard has been calling Skar King the most deadly threat Godzilla and Kong has ever faced. But why now? With the likes of Ghidorah and Mechagodzilla already defeated, how could Skar really hold a candle to those world-ending threats? Ghidorah flattened several cities across the planet, nearly terraforming it into his own image. So, around this time, what was Skar King doing? If he's the most powerful threat, why didn't he simply rise up and defeat Ghidorah? Well, today we're going to ask, what was Skar King doing during King of the Monsters and Godzilla vs. Kong, and how that might lead into the new empire? First, we have to go back to 1973, when Bill Randa visited Skull Island for the first and last time. We met Kong, who at the time was a mere 100 foot tall, and we learned about the history on the island. Kong's family were pushed to Skull Island by Godzilla's species, and once there, skull crawlers hunted them down and feasted on the primate's flesh. An infantile Kong hid from the conflict and arose as the last member of his species, or so he thought. And in the same film, we see a huge handprint painted on the cliff face with blood. At first we thought this was Kong's, but upon closer inspection, we can see this handprint is way too large to be his. And recently, in Legendary's marketing campaign, they've implied that this was never meant to be Kong, but was in fact the Skar King. But why would he be here? Well, we theorize that the Skullcrawlers were sent to Skull Island in the 19th century by Skar King to wipe out the exiled Kong tribe that had escaped from execution after they refused to bow to him. And when the work was finished, he came to claim the island as his territory, unaware there was one survivor leaving the mark. In the Godzilla Kong trailer, we learn that Skar King is enslaving Kong's species. So there is a chance that Kong's tribe ran to avoid the imprisonment and were punished for doing so. But without realizing Kong was still alive on the island, he was left to take care of the remaining skullcrawlers that now inhabit the island. Skar King would have returned to his home in the Hollow Earth and continued to grow his army of enslaved Kongs, who, with means of torture, are being conditioned into doing his bidding. This would have continued through to Godzilla King of the Monsters. When Ghidorah attacked the surface world, Skar likely had spies on the outside, observing and reporting back with details. News of Ghidorah's attack would give Skar the perfect opportunity to strengthen his army and plan a surface invasion, with a recently weakened world unprepared for another Titan attack. But until he was ready, Skar would continue to grow his empire in the Hollow Earth, capturing colonies of Kongs and mining for resources alongside his pet, Shimo, the first Titan. We see in the trailer that there are colossal crystals that appear to be a kind of power source, since Godzilla appears to utilize this to evolve into his more powerful form. So there's a big chance that Skar is using the Kongs to mine for this resource, which he will use in his attack. This would have come to a halt in Godzilla vs. Kong when one of Skar's claimed temples was destroyed after Godzilla blasted a hole through to the Hollow Earth. And Kong jumped through the tunnel to fight him in Hong Kong. Skar noticed this. A powerful Kong survivor with weaponry fighting the Alpha Titan? Who is this? Up to this point, Kong was protected by the storm surrounding Skull Island, but now the secret is out. There is a Kong that survived the Skullcrawler onslaught. After this discovery, When Kong returned to the Hollow Earth at the end of Godzilla vs. Kong, Skar would set out patrols to watch Kong and learn more about him, waiting for the perfect time to either add him to his growing army or kill him for refusing. Now Skar will prepare his army for an inevitable invasion of the surface to grow his ever-expanding empire, with the help of Shimo, who will have the ability to freeze entire cities in a cataclysmic freak blizzard. With all this information, it's clear that Skar was pulling the strings from the very beginning, a titan that orchestrated the conflicts we witnessed in Godzilla vs. Kong. He was there on Skull Island during the death of Kong's family, he knew about Ghidorah's attacks, and used the opportunity to grow his army, and when Godzilla destroyed one of his captured temples, he accelerated his plans to expand his new empire. So let's break down the timeline. 5000 BC, the Godzilla v Kong Titan War took place and saw both species in a heated conflict that would end up with the Kongs being nearly wiped out. With both Godzilla and Kong's species nearly defeated and weakened, Skar King, with the hopes of conquering the Hollow Earth, executed those that refused to bow to him, but some managed to escape to the surface. 19th century, Skar, with his growing empire, catches wind of the tribe of Kongs in Skull Island and sets loose a horde of skullcrawlers to wipe them out, and when the job is done, he marks the territory as his own. 2019, Skar notices Ghidorah's invasion and accelerates his army to strengthen his grip on the Hollow Earth and prepare for invasion. 2024, Godzilla blasts a hole into the Hollow Earth temple, which alerts Skar to the presence of the surviving Kong. 2029, Skar will fight Kong and either recruit him to his enslaved army or try kill him for refusing, and then will launch a full-scale invasion. There may be even more we don't know about, but from what we can gather, based on the hints provided, Skar King has been behind the scenes from the very beginning, lurking in the shadows, preparing his army for a full invasion of the surface. It's easy to see why Adam Wingard would say Skar King is the most powerful threat Godzilla and Kong has ever faced. With his intelligence and cunning, he's a real evil titan. There may still be a lot yet to discover, but one thing's for sure, we'll be here to report it all at Dangerville. So subscribe and stomp the notification button to not miss out on all that Godzilla Kong news. Be sure to give this video a big Kong-sized thumbs up if you want more lore explorations. I've been Alistair, and we'll see you residents in the next one.